view it like this, as if no matter what we're doing, we're connecting to basically the same machine, and we're using them as different windows into the same place. And over time, the web is going to own all the bits that we produce. So right now, that's not true. We might have a digital camera producing bits. Not all of those photographs will go onto the web, but very quickly all of them will pass through the web in some capacity. Right now, our cell phones are not quite on the web, but there are already several different outfits that are taking all phone calls and sending them through the web so that you have a kind of a web interface, a web memory of all your phone calls that you can then manipulate, save, repeat, digest, index, etc. So even something like the cell phone is going to go through that. Movies, digital, music, everything is basically going through the web in some capacity. And what isn't so far will in the future. And this also includes all the information that is being produced inside a business. Right now, a lot of things in a business, or like your homework at school, a Word document or text document may or may not go onto the web, but eventually what's happening is all the applications are running on the web. They may have some counterpart that sits on your computer, but every bit is going to go through the web, and it's as if here's an example of a company called Grand Central that sends all your phone calls through the web first before you get them on your handset. And you have a web interface to your telephone life. It's as if the web is sort of a black hole that's sucking all data and all information into it so that nothing digital we produce will escape being in the language, in the protocols of the web. And that makes it very, very powerful, because then we can do stuff with it that we can't right now. So all these things, your little handhelds, the big screen in your TV, anything that is electronic, anything that has a little chip in it will speak web, will be on the web operating system, will be part of this big machine. So if we go down the street and we see all this stuff will be on the web. All those signs, traffic lights, the inside the taxi cab, the dispatch, the GPS. This is going to be your web interface. That's all going to be, all the information, all the bits, and more are going to be on the web. Everything is connected to everything. That's how it works. And everything is connected to everything via the web. Even things like your shirts, your clothing. As you put a little RFD tag, this radio frequency ID, into every shirt, or you use these barcodes, this little sliver of brain, this little sliver of a chip put into everything, it's not very smart. It's only as smart as an ant, maybe. Put it into every bit of clothing so that the clothing can tell the washing machine how to wash it, or it can tell the store whether it's been sold, or it can tell you whether it's in your closet. It will do it through the web. So what we have in the end is an Internet of Things. We have not just an Internet of data, but we have an Internet of Things. So all these things in our lives become the web. Okay, so it's very, very big. And you can think of a shoe as a chip with heels in it. This is the Nike shoe that talks to your iPod, that when you're training and running, it tells you how fast you're going and where you've gone and how many calories that you've consumed, and it transmits that information to the iPod. This is a product that exists right now that many, many people are using. Or you can think of a car as a ship with wheels. Most of the expense in a car these days is not the steel or even the plastic, but it's the electronics in the car. It's the electronics in the car that make it efficient and fast. And so the value of the car is really not in the material, but in the knowledge and the information that's embedded into those materials. So they quickly are becoming part of the web. And a lot of people have thought about, when we started talking about the new economy, that we were talking about something where we were kind of online. It was just a disembodied, not very physical, an intangible world of information, sort of cyberspace, where everything was virtual. And that the old economy was big bricks, big cities, trucks, a lot of material. And that's a very incorrect and misleading image of old economy, new economy. Because in fact, what we're talking about is this, the convergence, the merger, where we embed information and chips into the physical things, into the city, into the truck, into the material. So the two are married together. They're merged. And we make an Internet of Things. That's what we're talking about, the new economy. It's where you have those two things happening together. So one of the things that I'm suggesting to people, particularly people who are in new media, who are interested in the future of music or the future of newspapers or the future of publishing, is that all these media that we have right now, TV, film, phone, newspapers, email, blogs, websites, that they're basically all converging into one media platform called the web. And that to a large extent, all these media will follow very similar format laws. Some of the things that we're discovering happens to music and movies. For instance, issues of copyright, the fact that they are copied very quickly, that you can't really make money selling copies of things. So that all these media are going to basically start to obey many of the similar laws because they're all on the same platform, even though their form may be different. You may have a little tiny screen with a handheld. You may have a big screen. You may have something that's looking like a book, that's an electronic digital paper. But despite the fact that they have a different form, they're actually all on the same platform. And the other thing is that when you want to think of the interface into the web, don't think about a keyboard. Think about this. This is the interface into the web. It's the entire world. So the web, as the web permeates its way into more and more things, not just the screens, not just the keyboard, as we start to have voice interaction, we have gesture interaction with these things. This is the interface onto the web. So that's the first aspect of it, this idea that we have multiple increasing interfaces into this machine. The second thing I want to talk about is the idea that we have sensory